Yo, welcome to Melony CRE YouTube. Today, we're going to be doing a VOD review of a deck that I played in a tournament recently. It is Rapid Strike Urshifu with Melony and a Suicune and Cinccino's, and it looks like a chaotic mess, but it is a very fun deck, and essentially the goal is to rapid flow like every single turn or almost every single turn. So we have our 4/4 Cinccino line with the make do ability, discard a card, draw 2. That's how we run through our deck as quickly as possible. We play the Passimian and 2 Telescopic Sights. That is a very big deal. Because like I said, we are using GMAX Rapid Flow like every single turn. And a lot of matchups, we're going to have to throw in coach to actually win the game. So we're going to have to hit for like 150 plus 180 onto benched VMAXs. Because they have to be on the bench, we play 2 Escape Ropes as well. The deck is very consistent at using GMAX Rapid Flow. It's also incredibly nice against these Sobble decks. If you can go first and get that turn 2 rapid flow, which you can hit pretty darn consistently, you often just kind of win the game. So I think it's a pretty solid archetype. I know people think it's a mess. I think it is a pretty good deck. This is not the optimal 60 at all, though. I think there's a lot of work to be done, and it might just be better with Inteleon instead of Cinccino. But unlike the Moltres E-Switch version, this one pulls off the rapid flow a little more consistently. It does not have the Moltres for like the Dragapult matchup and the Shadow Rider matchup, but that's why I'm going to feature the Shadow Rider matchup to kind of show how it's supposed to go and how Rapid Flow could just win the game anyway. You don't even need the Moltres. This is the list I played in the tournament. I ended up going 3-2 at the Liga Inter Last Chance qualifier. Had some tough beats. It was the first time I played the deck, and I definitely made a misplay or 6 like every single round. Still learning it, but I think it's very good. I would make one change, and I'm going to show you the change right now, and this is going to be the one in the deck list below. So the one change I would definitely make is cut this Bird Keeper here and add a 4th Melony. Whiffing Melony is a big feels bad. Like, you definitely want to hit Melony, and one of the reasons I lost is just like finding Melony is so important because you're trying to win ASAP. So it's like, yes, you're pulling off the GMAX Rapid Flow pretty consistently, but against a deck like Suicune or Zacian Zamazenta, for example, well, the Zamazenta is just really annoying, but you have to Melony a lot in order to actually win. So adding a 4th one just increases that consistency a little bit, and the Bird Keeper felt underwhelming. I thought it was a cool idea. It was like fine, but for the most part, the Bird Keeper wasn't that good. But go ahead and try out the list. We're going to check out the game too. We're going to do a VOD review of my round 3 against Shadow Rider VMAX. So again, a bad matchup that I think we did a decent job of navigating. The keyword's decent. You'll see why. But let's go ahead and check out that game and my comments over the game as well. All right, so here's our game. We are up against Shadow Rider in this one, so a very bad matchup. We're watching 1.5 times speed as well. So we're 2-0 at this point in the tournament, so we're feeling pretty okay. We lose the coin flip, which sucks. This deck definitely wants to go first because you want to get set up ASAP. We have an option here. We're going second. Strafe doesn't really do anything on any of their Shadow Riders. So we should go ahead and shove the Minccino into the active, I believe. We do have the Bird Keeper in hand. So there's a chance where we'd rather start an Urshifu and then Bird Keeper into the Minccino. But I think, looking back, definitely want to start this Minccino over here. Even if they take the 1 prize, that's generally fine, because then we can go through 2 VMAXs, and we can also throw in a potential energy assist at some point in the middle there. So we should start the Minccino in this situation. We're going to throw the Urshifu up there. The Strafe does nothing because they have 30 resistance anyway. We also don't even have the energy to Strafe. The other argument is we want to keep the ability to use trades. Okay, Strafe does matter into that. They started an Alcremie, so that is an option for us to actually strafe into, making this play a little better. But I definitely think the Minccino should have been in the active. Depending on what we top deck, we might choose to Bird Keeper over Marnie, or depending on how much my opponent plays, but odds are we just want to see as many cards as possible on this upcoming turn. They've got the Balloon, they've got the Attach, so they're in a pretty good spot, and they're going to retreat into the Crobat. That's actually a really big deal. So we're currently deciding if we want to use Marnie or Bird Keeper. The fact that they retreated, they ballooned and retreated, tells me they likely have either a Balloon or a Switch in their hand. Because of that, the optimal play here is going to be to Marnie. So we want to set up more Minccino, so we're going to go ahead and Quick Ball. We're going to Quick Ball. I'd probably lean towards Quick Balling the Bird Keeper. The Escape Rope's really important in this matchup because we're going to win with 2 GMAX Rapid Flows, most likely. GMAX Rapid Flow with the Sight and or Passimian. He's going to do 150 to the bench, and then a second Gmax Rapid Flow with both Sight and Passimian would finish them off. So the rope is a very big deal because we're going to have to Melony both times as well. Go ahead and quick ball at the Bird Keeper, grab a second Minccino, go bench the Urshifu as well, and go ahead and hit him with the Marnie. Like I said, the reason we're going to Marnie here is there's a chance they can't move this because they did the retreat play, telling me there's a balloon or a switch in hand, and we're going to Marnie it to the bottom of the deck, making it very unlikely that they're going to be able to find it on the next turn. Not very unlikely, but make it fairly unlikely. Get rid of the Bird Keeper, grabbing, we could also actually go back to the deck. Could also have grabbed a Remoraid here, assuming the Octillery was in deck. Although Make Do is just so good. The odds of needing, the Minccino's better. The Minccino's better because we have to get a Water Energy in the discard pile. We're just gonna we have to draw cards. We have to be aggressive. The Octillery is not quite aggressive enough. Okay. So now we have to do a little bit of counting before we attach this energy. They can attach for turn, and they can Shadow Mist. Oh my gosh, Underworld Door. That's 3, 6, 9, 10. That's 200 damage. They cannot knock this out unless they get Galarian Articuno down as well. The odds of them knocking out the active is pretty darn low. So we can attach to the active. Even if they do get the knockout, we have the Melony in hand, although we'd likely rather like Korrina and do some other stuff there. But attaching to the active is fine because the odds of them knocking it out is very low, and we do have a response against that play as well. We did draw an Evo Incense, so potentially an Octillery just would have been really nice. Because then the Octillery would have guaranteed us either the VMAX or the Rapid Strike Energy, which are both so important in this matchup. All right, they get their Crystal, they get their Underworld Door. So can they get this thing out of the active, or are we going to get a free turn? And there's a Marnie. Okay, so we do lose a pretty solid hand, but that's fine. We have the two Mincinos down, so the Cinccinos that we did not draw into would be really nice here. But that's okay. We got a Remoraid, we got a VMAX, and we got a card to draw more cards with. And they're digging now. They are going to get set up. There's the Articuno. That's what they needed. So if one of these last two cards in their hand is a switching card, they do have the knockout, which will hurt. Okay. It would have hurt a lot. That's one reason not to attach to the active. Marnie plus KO here would have pretty much just lost us the game immediately on the turn because we couldn't Melony and hit. But that's just so much to ask for. They have to Underworld Door once. They have to attach for turn, get a switch card, get the Articuno, all while playing a Marnie as well, and Marnie us into a hand that can't find a Melony. So I think the attach active was fine. Like I said, I think a Cinccino should have been in the active. Bench the Remoraid for sure. Now, the question on this play is, do we want to evolve the active and say, YOLO, I'm going to hit it? Because we have to go fast. If we don't go fast, we lose. So if we don't evolve this, we evolve the one on the bench, they can just boss it. If we don't evolve either of them, we're still not in a particularly great spot. I like the idea here of I'm going to go big. It is a very risky play, but it's a very bad matchup. And so I think we do it. I think we evolve active and say, you know what? I'm going to draw into one of my energies and I'll be good to go. Or maybe I'll draw into a Tower of Waters and I'll try and hide on the bench. That is another option as well. Let's see. Do we get punished? Never punished for the greed. Pretty darn good draw as well. We're going to level ball, grab a Minccino. Now, another question is, what do we want to do with this hand? We need the Rapid Strike energies, like for sure. We kind of really want the Octillery. We also kind of really want the level ball. So this hand is actually very good. The question is, do we just double evolve, attach, snipe? So we can get back to the hand. Do we just double attach, just single attach, evolve, snipe, and then next turn we can go for the Korrina's play, attach, but then we don't get the Melony. Yeah, it's kind of just, it's a really awkward spot to be in, unfortunately. So question, do we make do or not? I do like making do here. Drawing more cards feels nice. My opponent's deck list, I believe, did not play 4 Marnies. And I would usually assume Shadow Rider has like 4 research, 3 Marnies. Seems to be the norm. Maybe not every single version. But I like the idea here of make do the level ball and see what we can draw into. We could also make do the Octillery if the second Octillery is in the deck. Which I believe it was, although I don't fully remember. As one of those things when playing the game, I definitely should have known if I didn't know. Level Ball, check. Okay, the second Octillery is in the deck. What we can do is we can actually just make do the Octo. Because it'd be nice to have an Octillery for next turn, but having two make do's, having the Rapid Strike Energy already in hand, we should be generally fine. And this is, we're just digging to build a hand up and advance our board state even more. Finding a second VMAX would be really nice this turn, just assuming we're probably not going to get Marnied. We might get Marnied, but and hand's very nice. We have the incense for the second thing. We have a Melony. So we're kind of good to go. So now we're going to take 6 prizes. Not this turn, obviously. The way we're going to take 6 prizes is likely going to be Crobat for 2, Articuno for 1, and Cake for 3 more. The cool thing about the Cake is it doesn't have resistance. So if it's in the active, we can actually do a lot of damage on it. So the idea here is, although actually being in the active is now irrelevant because if we snipe it this turn, what we should do here is hit the Cake. And the question is, do we want to hit the Articuno or do we want to hit the Crobat? If we hit the Articuno, they have 1 less energy in play. So now they have 3. Attached return, that's 4. Underworld Door, that's 5. They need 6 to get a knockout. So they have to get another Shadow Rider VMAX and another energy. So if we KO the Articuno, they have to double Underworld Door, attach, and get a switching card because they can't hard retreat. If we KO the Crobat, we get an extra prize, and late game, we don't have to find the Passimian Telescopic Sight combo. So there's a couple of like kind of pros and cons here of like, what are the odds they find a switch card? They have, I think it's 4 or 5 left in deck because they're down 1 balloon. They play like 3 balloons to switch, I believe, or it's some combination of 3-2 of those. So if we KO this, they need switch, VMAX, 3 energies. They have a training court, so they'd get one of the energies for sure. So switch, VMAX, 2 energies. If we KO the bat, then late game, all we need is the sight combo on this, plus a KO on this to win the game. Looking back, I think we KO the Crobat and hit the Alcremie here. The reason is we need this, because the reason is, sorry, the math. 120 plus 150, 120 plus 180. Wait, that actually wouldn't even KO. 120 plus 180 would be short. I'm trying to think through the math in this situation. Yeah, I think we hit this, and the idea is we go hit this, hit the Crobat, knockout. We're going to energy assist this at some point, and then rapid flow for our last prizes. So we need a couple more attacks to win the game because we didn't get the Telescopic Sight or the Passimian down this turn. So go KO Crobat, hit the Alcremie on this turn. That way, late game, we only need one of the sight or no, KO the Articuno. Articuno's correct. Because we're going to need the Passimian sight play no matter what, and this just makes it slightly more awkward for them to actually get the KO next turn. If they whiff the KO, we win the game. If they hit the KO, we don't lose. But we're in a little awkward spot. So they quick ball away a switch card, so they probably have a switch card in hand. And there's a training court. They cannot hard retreat, remember. I mean, they can hard retreat, but they don't get the knockout. They could knock out without Alcremie. They could hard retreat and knock out without Alcremie as well. But that's just really aggressive. They had multiple switches in hand. So good for them. 3, 4. They have 4 energies. They still need, okay, not a Marnie. That's good, but they need 2 more energies. They've already used training court. Do they find a second VMAX and an attachment for turn? There's the attachment for turn. There's a balloon, so that's 4 of their switching cards down. Another energy. They have the VMAX in hand. If they whiff here, we're in a wonderful spot. Second Alcremie, does not matter. Well, they can KO with the Alcremie, actually. But if they KO with the Alcremie, we have the option to, because they're going to be like stripped of energy, then we can energy assist. Okay, this is cool. They Gmax Whisk, they have to discard a lot of energies. So now, for them to KO next turn, they need 6 energies on the field. They have 1 attach return, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't KO me next turn unless they played a Rod to get back the Articuno. So we can energy assist this for 40, and then we can finish off the game with a Telescopic Sight Passimian play and double sniping through both beats. So now, I should hit pause before that. What we should do here is we Training Court back the water. It's actually a very good hand. We can make do the Echoing Horn because we already know our 6 prizes. We're going to KO the Alcremie and we're going to KO the Crobat. So there's no reason to have Training Courted yet. We should have left that in the discard pile for right now. We should just make do that Horn because we can always Training Court after. The Echoing Horn is useless in this specific situation in this matchup. We draw 2 more cards. See, and this is where there is a bit of a punish. We drew a Capture Energy, so now we don't even need that Water Energy. What we should do is we should make do the Water Energy away, get 2 more cards, and then we can Energy Assist the Water Energy onto something else. Grab an Octo. Sure. We already know we want the Octo. We don't want to draw into it. We can capture out a second Urshifu. And we can spread out some energies as well. Sure. Make do, get rid of the water. Make do, get rid of the water. That was a misplay. We want to get rid of the water there because we could Melony. Now we can't support her. Or we could have just energy assisted it back on. So now we're just in a really awkward situation because we Training Courted the water for no reason. And then we didn't make do the water. And so now we can't Melony and we're energy assisting for nothing. We should also, this is also a really bad play. If they KO my Passimian, we're actually in a pretty awkward spot as well. Is that 160 HP? So no, we can hit it for 150. Never mind, because we can just get a Telescopic Sight. We're fine. Yeah, that water should be on one of those Urshifus right now, like for sure. We should have, there's no reason not to have gotten the energy assist and put a water on this, just to say we don't need the Melony next turn, because they can't KO the Octo and Marnie in the same turn. Yep, and so we would have had a pretty big piece of the combo there. This would have activated Marnie as well, which would have been really nice. There's a Whisk, they go down to 1 prize. We have to win on this upcoming turn. Again, we know our 5 prizes, 6 prizes. Actually, benching the Passimian was terrible. Wait. So, sorry, I completely missed this. Benching the Passimian, we can still knock this out, but we can't KO the Crobat. If my opponent bossed the Passimian there, we actually just would have lost the game because we can't KO the Crobat anymore. So, not a great play there by my opponent because we got rid of the... Yeah. If they could boss the KO the Passimian, we literally cannot win the game. Because we can take 5 prizes on this Alcremie. We could win the game. It's just like, it's really awkward. They should have KO'd the Passimian. The Urshifu is not threatening them whatsoever. Because we could have technically Gale Thrusted this. They can't KO me next turn, and they can KO me next turn. It just would have been really hard. 3 Underworld Doors and a boss. Yeah, I definitely should have KO'd the Passimian there. So now we need a we need our Telescopic Sight. If we get the Telescopic Sight, we win the game. And Telescopic Sight and Escape Rope, sorry. Or a boss. No, because we have to melt. Yeah, so Telescopic Sight and Escape Rope, we win the game here. Thinning the deck. We're going to play the, use the Octillery first. We're going to play the Level Ball, play the Incense as well. We're looking for that Telescopic Sight and one of our Escape Ropes. If we hit it, we're good. We win the game. If we whiff it, we whiffed it. Well, we didn't whiff it. We still Melony. We always Melony here. We have to force them into hopefully an awkward situation. No rope. No Telescopic Sight. That sucks. So, had we KO'd the Crobat on the first turn instead of the Galarian Articuno, we actually never mind because we needed the Escape Rope. So, if we hit the Escape Rope, we would have been fine. So, what we can do is we can Gale Thrust this and say, you literally cannot KO my Urshifu. You have to have 2 VMAXs and energy and a boss. Yep. So now they can do it. They have a very large hand. No, wait, they can't KO me. Just kidding. I'm really bad at math. So they cannot actually KO me here. They have to have a boss's orders. Yeah, they need the boss. Let's see. Underworld Doors. If they don't get it, we still don't have game. We need to get our Telescopic Sight or a boss's orders to actually win the game here. Opponent, all right. Do they have, that's their last switching card? Training Court's not a boss. Do they draw into their boss's orders? So here is just kind of identifying what is my opponent's win condition, what is my win condition. I have thrown a lot in this game, but thankfully so did my opponent. So that helps quite a bit. And there's the boss. So we actually just win the game here. There's nothing they can do. They can't knock me out. They don't play an escape rope. I have boss, Gmax rapid flow. I don't even have to retreat. So we pull out the dub, despite the misplays. There were several misplays in that game for sure. Some sequencing issues, the Melony with the boss's orders. But like I said, my opponent also made some sketchy plays, going in with the Alcremie very aggressively, made it so their Shadow Riders couldn't KO me, and it took away their best advantage, which is using weakness. So we were able to take advantage of my opponent's misplays in this game, and we're doing pretty well too. We're at 2-0. So we're able to take advantage of their misplays. They did not take advantage of my misplays. KOing the Passimian definitely would have been the correct play earlier. It also would have kept the Urshifu on the field so they can always win with a boss's orders because they know I'm never going to give them a single prizer. KOing with the Alcremie is also a very sketchy play by my opponent. By them KOing with the Alcremie, they're removing their energies and removing their ability to KO my Urshifu on the next turn. So it was really aggressive play by my opponent. You know, if they KO the Passimian, they only have to discard one energy as well. And so they can just keep more energy on the field. So yeah, some fairly awkward plays there. Or if they just KO the Minccino, they could potentially play a draw support or two and set up their board more and Underworld Door more energy. But like I said, we took advantage of those misplays. We said, these are the prizes we're going to take. And we did take them. We took the Crobat, we took the Articuno, and we took the Alcremie as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. Hopefully you enjoy the deck as well. I think this is not the optimal 60. I said that in the intro. Not the optimal 60, but I think it's a very good deck. There's something here. I think the Inteleon version might probably just be better than the Cinccino version, but I really like using Make Do. It's a lot of fun. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Twitch channel as well, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.